And the fifth sign that you're out of alignment is that you feel like there's a hole, something missing in you. And that gap or that hole inside of you is that you are not living your purpose. So are you living in alignment? In today's video, we're going into 5 different ways that you might be out of alignment, and then how to course correct and how to get yourself back into a place of alignment. So thank you for joining me. I'm AmyC with You Finding You. I'm an intuitive and transformational coach, and I help you look inside yourself, start to look internally and connect with what your purpose is, who you are, and getting into that aligned place and living more aligned within yourself. And that being the place where you are living more fully and more in your intention and in your purpose. So this week I'm continuing the series on getting into your purpose, finding your purpose and meaning in life. And today I was going into what does alignment mean? What does that mean in yourself? But then 5 ways that you might be out of alignment and being able to course correct and get back into that aligned place. So when I talk about alignment, what I mean by that is it's really finding and getting into a place where you're listening to that internal voice in yourself and knowing what your purpose is, your meaning, what you want to be doing in life, what brings you joys, what brings you happiness and real satisfaction in your life. And so getting into alignment is when you notice those times where you're like, oh, this doesn't feel right in myself, and you still push yourself to do it. That's out of alignment. Where when you follow those things that you really enjoy doing and do feel right in yourself, then you're listening to what is aligned in yourself. So what are signs and ways of seeing that you are out of alignment? And the first one is that you're stuck in the grind mode and in this place where you're prioritizing these external achievements, these getting adulations and getting acknowledgments externally over inner peace and fulfillment. And so when you are seeking these things outside of you, it's when you're in a place of, I need to do this and get these things because that's gonna give me worth, that's gonna give me value. So you're prioritizing those things outside of you rather than really connecting deeper within yourself and connecting into living in a place where you know your truth and who you are. So how do you course correct in this case? When you are externally seeking validation and looking for things outside of you, stepping back and starting to connect within yourself, listening to that internal voice, what you love, what are you enjoying, what brings you true happiness, and are the tasks and things that you are doing aligned with that voice inside of you? And if it is not aligned, then it's becoming aware of, can you delegate these tasks or can you work with them in a different way that actually starts to bring you fulfillment and joy? And the second sign that you are out of alignment is that you're not listening to your intuition and that inner voice inside of you. And what this is it means that you are focusing again externally on others' opinions or just on logic and just thoughts and beliefs that all of it is here, rather than getting deeper into listening, quieting the mind and listening to that real deep inner knowing where you get a feeling or a sense of this is a yes or this is a no. And so what you're doing is you're prioritizing all these others' opinions or your thoughts over listening to that inner voice inside of you. So to course correct this and to get more into listening to that inner guidance, it is to spend more quiet time, to slow down and meditate or journal. And you can also ask yourself, what feels true or right in me right now? And then trust that first response, because that first response is your internal knowing. And that's what comes up, but then a lot of time our head starts to get in the way of doubting it or not believing or trusting it. So it's, again, asking yourself that question, does this feel right or true? And then see what that first response is. And the third sign is lack of passion or motivation. And this is when you're doing things out of obligation rather than doing it out of joy, inspiration, or real interest in what you're doing. So how to course correct this is to get into where you're doing more activities that do really light you up. You can also start small with like daily trying something, looking into something that really fulfills you, that really brings you that joy, and starting to learn what it is in yourself that brings you joy so that you can know, oh, when these things are not satisfying for me, not fulfilling for me, this isn't really aligned for me. And again, you might be doing it out of some kind of obligation rather than actually doing it because it fills you up. The fourth sign is then encountering resistance or roadblocks. With this one, what it then ends up happening is that you're forcing things to happen and pushing and making it happen rather than having a sense of flow and things happening more naturally for you. And how do you course correct for this one? There's a couple of different things. Like for myself, I know at one point I was working on a website and it was like I was forcing and pushing and making and every day having to research, and it just was not coming together. So there was so much resistance and blocks in it that I finally stepped back and was like, there has to be a better way than this. There has to be something that is easier, more flowing for me. And by the next day, I found a completely different site to go to and work from. And there was tutorials, all these things that made it so much easier and much more flow around it. So I share that example, and it's stepping back, allowing yourself to step back and trusting and knowing that there is a path that is going to be more of ease and flow. So it's allowing yourself to pause and step back, also reflecting on it, looking at the situation and seeing that you're forcing and making things happen, and then trusting and knowing that there are other ways, there are other processes that can be much more of ease and more flow to it. You can also see these challenges as learning and growth for yourself. You can also step back from it and say, what am I learning in this? What is the growth that I'm getting from this situation? And the fifth sign that you're out of alignment is that you feel like there's a hole, something missing in you. And that gap or that hole inside of you is that you're not living your purpose. And you feel like you're looking for something to fill that hole, but really what it is that you need to step back and look within to find who you are, what you want, who and what you love. And when you find that, you start filling in, or that hole just starts to disappear. So really it is stepping back, doing meditation, doing something that can help you start to look internally and looking and seeing, are you doing things that are aligned with you, and seeing those things externally that you're doing, that you're trying to fill this hole inside of you, is that really aligned with what you love, with your purpose? So stepping back again and getting into a place of, is this true for me? Is this really what lights me up? And taking a moment to see those things will then start to fill or even have that hole completely disappear. So I would be curious, do put in the comments below if any of these resonated with you. And I know for me, all of them did. Like all of them are ones that I have worked through and looked at, and really it's about stepping into this place within yourself and starting to find what is true for you, what lights you up, what gives you passion and joy for life. And really you have to look at yourself internally, what that means for you, not by getting it from some things outside of you. So thank you again, and if you are enjoying and getting value out of these videos, do hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again. I'll see you guys in the next video.